Urban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial.
If you believe that the intricacies of small-town politics couldn't captivate your attention, think again. The latest drama unfolds with unpaid rent, allegations of misappropriating taxpayer funds, and even discussions of potential arrests. The township meetings? They're more about Tiffany's theatrical performances than actual governance. Illinois is becoming increasingly unpredictable with each passing day. At the heart of this political whirlwind is Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of this modest Chicago suburb. She finds herself at the center of a storm that's intensifying by the hour.
But it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, you have just some kind of business.
Tiffany Henyard, elected as Dolton's mayor in 2021, has become a polarizing figure in local politics. She's accused of lavish spending of taxpayer money, using police resources for personal protection, and is currently facing eviction from her home due to unpaid rent. Henyard, who earns nearly $300,000 annually from her roles as mayor and township supervisor, has not paid rent to her landlord, Janetta Hall, since August. Hall is now seeking eviction after Henyard and her boyfriend, Camel Woods, allegedly stopped making rent payments on their Dolton residence. In addition to the eviction proceedings, Henyard is under federal investigation for alleged misuse of taxpayer funds, including extravagant spending and questionable use of public resources. These developments have intensified scrutiny of Henyard's administration, raising concerns about financial management and ethical conduct within the village government.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
We're here to handle the business, not let the business handle us. That's what we are elected to do, sir. So please.
It's her fault. It's her problem, her responsibility, and she failed.
Henyard's leadership style feels more like something straight out of a reality TV villain playbook than the behavior of a public servant. One of the many controversies involving her is the PO story. According to reports, Henyard and her partner owe thousands of dollars in unpaid rent, and they even went as far as changing the locks and garage codes to keep the landlord from getting in. Naturally, the landlord, Paul, who's facing foreclosure on her property, is livid. She claims this situation has put her in a tough spot and says she wants them out for good because at this point, it's about much more than just money. Honestly, who could blame her? Her motion to evict is heating up. But that's not all. Henyard's also tangled in a bitter conflict with the Adden trustees, who have accused her of everything from falsifying checks to hiding critical financial records. Meanwhile, another drama is unfolding in the political world. Henyard recently made headlines with a nearly 90-minute Facebook Live rant, where she hinted at wanting to see the arrest of her political rivals, but didn't quite clarify what crimes they were supposedly guilty of. The tension between her and the trustees has reached an all-time high, with each side accusing the other of corruption and shady dealings. In fact, the trustees have taken the matter to court, filing a lawsuit against her. Henyard, for her part, has responded with the intensity of someone who's watched one too many courtroom dramas.
Whatever that vendor is.
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's.
Irony here is hard to miss. The same mayor who was caught earlier this year blowing tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on first-class flights, luxury hotel stays, and fancy meals in places like New York and Atlanta, none other than Rich Henyard, who's currently under federal investigation for her own lavish spending and mishandling of taxpayer funds, is now accusing her political rivals of corruption. According to an unforgettable report, she reportedly dropped a jaw-dropping $43,000 and on Amazon in just one day. Don't be fooled into thinking it was for office supplies for the village. It looks more like a personal shopping spree at the taxpayer's expense. Her reckless spending even caught the attention of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was called in to investigate Dolton's finances. The findings were staggering. Under Henyard's leadership, Dolton's general fund balance plummeted from a healthy $561 million in 2022 to a massive deficit of $365 million by May 2024. That's a shocking $9 million swing in less than 2 years.
In Thornton Township, the board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances.
The village is now in dire straits, all thanks to Henyard's reckless spending spree. Not only has it tarnished the village's reputation, but it's also left local businesses on the brink of collapse. In one particularly shocking instance, it was uncovered that at least 589 checks, totaling over $6 million, were printed but never sent to vendors. As a result, vendors went unpaid, and essential services were left in limbo. With federal authorities reportedly digging deeper into Dolton's finances, it's clear these issues won't be resolved anytime soon. Henyard's opponents have pointed to this as clear evidence that she cares more about funding her own lifestyle than fulfilling the duties she was elected to perform.
That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their...
Does Henyard show any remorse for the village's financial mess? Of course not. In fact, she's doubling down on her self-appointed role as the town's savior. On her Facebook page, she accused her critics of being jealous and promised to reveal the whole truth later, something that sounds more like a soap opera twist than a legitimate response. She even suggested that her opponents are using these accusations to distract from their own alleged corruption. "Why is all the attention on me?" she asked, playing the part of an innocent victim caught in some grand conspiracy. Meanwhile, the people of Dolton are left bewildered, wondering how they ended up with a mayor more focused on playing the victim than tackling the real issues: the water main breaks, unpaid vendors, and a police force stretched thin because officers are too busy acting as Henyard's personal bodyguards. Despite all this, Henyard insists that everything she does is for the people, as if her lavish spending is somehow benefiting the community.
One day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
a recent investigation uncovered some truly shocking revelations. Village credit cards were used for everything from luxury furniture to travel expenses for taxpayer-funded trips to Las Vegas. And let's not forget the billboard campaign that plastered Henyard's face all over town, making it seem like Dolton was her personal playground, free for her to do whatever she wanted. In one particularly outrageous move, she hosted an $85,000 party featuring rapper Jay Holiday and R&B singer K. Michelle, all while the town's finances were spiraling downhill.
You are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have...
Just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, the latest meeting in Henyard's township proved otherwise. What was supposed to be a routine discussion of township matters quickly turned into a full-blown disaster, resembling nothing short of a live-action dumpster fire. This is just one example of how these meetings have spiraled into total chaos. The goal of the meeting was to address important township business, but instead, the atmosphere became tense as Henyard clashed with the trustees, even going so far as to prevent one of them, Cororo, from participating remotely. While Cororo cited safety concerns for her absence, Henyard dismissed her legitimate worries with childish arrogance, outright denying her the opportunity to attend virtually.
Guilty of all 9 counts, I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your...
When it came time to approve the meeting minutes, Henyard acted like a dictator, bulldozing her way through the proceedings without allowing any discussion. She even had the nerve to second her own motion when no one else would, a blatant violation of parliamentary procedure. As the meeting dragged on, it became clear that Henyard cared more about putting on a show than actually getting anything done. When trustee Chris Gonzalez finally had enough and walked out, Henyard didn't hesitate to spin a story that suited her narrative, accusing Gonzalez of neglecting his duties and avoiding responsibility for the people's business. Conveniently, she left out the fact that her own actions were what had led the meeting to collapse in the first place. It's no wonder the locals are getting increasingly frustrated with her antics. One commenter on a YouTube video about the township meeting summed it up perfectly: "Arrest this clown already." Another commenter didn't hold back, calling her the worst enemy of the residents by far. To the dismay of many, Henyard has announced her bid for re-election as mayor of Dolton, making the announcement on Facebook as if the scandals and mismanagement of the past few years never happened. While her political opponent, the trustworthy Jason House, is rallying support to challenge her in the upcoming election, Henyard seems determined to cling to her position. These reactions highlight a growing frustration among Dolton residents, who feel she's more interested in holding on to power than actually serving the community. Henyard's time as mayor has been a whirlwind of chaos, with accusations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and abuse of power piling up faster than she can deny them. Reports suggest the FBI is investigating her spending habits, leaving many wondering how long she'll be able to stay in office. But if there's one thing we know about Henyard, it's that she's not going down without a fight. While financial records may show she hasn't raised much money for her re-election campaign, that hasn't stopped her from pressing forward. The saga of Tiffany Henyard serves as a warning about what happens when someone turns public office into their own personal playground. What do you think will happen with Tiffany Henyard? Will she manage to hold on to power despite the mounting scandals, or is this the beginning of the end for Dolton's so-called super mayor? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to hit that like button if you believe it's time for a change in Dolton's leadership. Henyard's rise to power may have been swift, but if she falls, it'll be nothing short of spectacular. The people of Dolton deserve better, and hopefully, they'll get the chance to make their voices heard in the next election.